What is good, YouTube? Yando here, back again with another upload. And in this video here, I'm gonna cover peaking and tapering. So you might have heard like guys who compete will be like, okay, the peak starts today, or I'm gonna peak, or I'm tired, hopefully taper will save me. So I'm gonna cover these terms here and how it differs from like normal training and the goals and outcomes of peaking and tapering. So in strength training in general, we go through different periods. Our training is periodized. The three main like ones are like a volume hypertrophy phase, where like the variation we're doing is going to be a lot higher, a lot more like reps and sets with lower weights. Then like a strength phase is where we're doing like less volume, less hypertrophy work, but like focus on hitting bigger sets. So weights are going to be like much higher. And then the peaking phase, where we're preparing to max out and test our like the strength we've gained over the volume phase and the strength phase. So yeah, the peaking phase is basically like preparing our body to test our strength. So as mentioned, the goal of the peak is to maximize the amount of weight you can push on a given day or given days. So the peak lasts around 4 to 6 weeks for most people, and the taper will be at the end of the peak. So the taper is included in those 4 to 6 weeks. The taper is like a little deload, not but it isn't the same. In the deload, the main goal is just to like eliminate all fatigue. But the taper, we want to like low fatigue but maintain fitness. Fitness meaning like our skill or like our ability to perform a movement. For example, let's say you stop gym for like 2 weeks, you will have low fatigue, but also you have low fitness because you haven't been doing the movements for a long time. So the taper's goal is to keep that fitness levels high. So normally how you do this is by like lowering the volume but keeping the weights high still, and you'll like low fatigue but you'll still be fit to like, perform good weights. So when like peaking and tapering, the main goal is to find a good ratio between fatigue and fitness, because as mentioned, if you lower the volume and weight too much, you become like low fatigue, which is obviously good, but low fitness. If you don't lower it enough, fatigue will be high, so you perform less. So you gotta find like a nice ratio between the two, and it takes time, like trial and error, to find what's perfect for you, because everyone differs and everyone detrains at different rates. For example, someone who detrains quickly will have a shorter taper, versus someone who takes long to detrain will have a longer taper. But yeah, those are the basics of how like peaking and like tapering sort of works. The main way you do is like 2 weeks out you lower volume, 1 week out you lower a bit more, and then you compete. So yeah, what differs compared to like your normal training versus like in the taper, or sorry, your peak as a whole, is like the volume you do on each movement. For example, during like a volume phase, you probably do more work on like variations. So like more like, I don't know, a high bar tempo squat, last on presses, spirit presses. But in the peaking phase, you'll be doing more like comp variations. I mean like comp specific movements. So you're doing like comp squats, like no variation, no like tempo squats or pause squats. You might still do it for some lifters. Some lifters still benefit from doing, sorry man, pardon me. Some lifters still benefit from doing these variations because it could help their main day. But most guys are good to just like do the one movement, because the more you do the movement, the more fit you become for the movement, right? If you're doing like normal squats twice a week, it's better than doing like 1 day paused and 1 day normal. But some guys get benefits from doing pause squats. So it is a bit complex on what you do, and it all depends on each lifter. So you can't say like everyone should be doing twice a week just normal squats, because some guys do vary. For example, I do like long pauses in my all my clients is like peaks, because I find long pauses helps you become used to the comp pause. Even in comp it'll be shorter, long pauses gets you like used, I don't know, like mentally. It's just that's what I do. I do long pauses in my peak because that's what I do. But yeah, that's the in a volume phase. When you're like 15, 12 weeks out from comp, you'll be doing maybe more variations. So maybe like high bar pause squats. Obviously in comp, you might do low bar normal squat. So the variations you'll be doing like far away from the comp or peaking phase will be a lot different to what you're doing in comp. So let's say even if you're doing variations, you'll be doing more volume of the comp lift itself. Right? For example, let's say you have bench, you're doing like bench for a week. In your comp, you might do like 1 by 1 on last on press, 1 by 1 on tempo bench, 1 by 1 on spotter press, and then like 5 by 5 on your comp bench. And in the volume phase, you might be doing like more volume on the variation days compared to the comp day. So those are like things that change. More volume will be allocated to the comp lifts to have more fitness on the comp lifts. What else changes? Reps. So in comp, you're obviously going to be hitting a single on the meet day, or when you max out, it's going to be a single. So during the peaking phase, you'll be doing more singles, more or less. So normally high volume blocks, you're doing like more reps, and as you like get near comp, you'll be doing like less and less reps and more weight. So during a peak, you might do like singles, getting heavier and heavier each week for the comp. So that's how also your volume changes in terms of reps you're doing. And I think overall that's it really. Peaking phase, more comp specific and less reps, because in comp you're doing singles. And yeah, I don't think I've covered like the basics of it, so hopefully now you have a better understanding of how things work. So yeah, last week I released my own peaking program, so if you want to see how I did myself and how I structure a peak, then in the bio you see a link to my website. You can get the program, use the code YT, get a little discount. But yeah, overall I feel like I've covered everything and I'm happy with the video, so like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.